was recording, so don't worry whenever.
Yeah. So we recorded that too. So when we were first planning to record these new songs, the initial motivation behind the music was to take Birth to the GYC Europe conference in 2012. And when we first started working on the music, I realized that God was actually helping or teaching us or growing our talents through this process, because we had never done this before. This was the first time. And I was reading a lot about what Ellen White said about God qualifying us and growing and developing our gifts as we are using them in His service. And she said that the people that learn to swim can't learn to swim on land. You have to be in the water. So you have to be involved in part of things for God to actually develop those talents. When we were planning or started to work on the music, I suggested that we use a real string orchestra or a real string section.
Writing and arranging music for a string orchestra, a string ensemble, was a first for me. The whole experience of it was very exciting, but also, very nerve-wracking at times, because you don't know if it's really going to work. You don't know if what you are hearing is really, really going to work in real life.
We'd never done this before. Previously, we'd just worked with MIDI tracks and digital sounds, but it would never really do the music justice as we were hearing the music in our head. Yeah, it doesn't really suit the music anymore. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem to do justice like it used to. So I think we're going to have to rewrite that part again. It was a big challenge, but it was one we were willing to, take on.
It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of late nights and some nights of no sleep at all, like working straight through the night. But once again, God was so good. Somehow He sustained us. We were tired, but we had enough energy to go through the day, to do our job, to fulfill our responsibilities, and to come back and work at night again. He was really, really providing.
A bit of background is that we have recorded the piano parts and we have gotten Andrea to do the vocals, and now we're filling in strings which we will then put to sheet music or transcribe to sheet music, big word, and then we'll give that to the string section players to perform when we record the song. On the day of the recording, while we were in the studio, I remember planning everything to the hour, or to the almost like half an hour of what we needed to do and how we needed to stay on schedule. And we were recording the piano in the morning, and by lunch we would have the string section come in, and in the evening we were going to record the choir.
When we were trying to record the piano, there was the guy who was recording called it a ghost, because the levels just dipped for no reason, and we couldn't understand what was wrong or why it was happening. And my husband and I went outside and we prayed, and the minute we had stopped praying and we went back into the studio, everything worked. Satan was trying to stop us from recording, and God just said, hang on, this is my work, and they're going to carry on.
While we were still recording the piano, I thought we had ample time to finish what we were doing, and then suddenly the string musicians showed up. We weren't ready, we weren't prepared, and I was so scared that they would get agitated or frustrated or impatient with us because we weren't finished with what we were recording. And then suddenly, while we were checking on gear and making sure that the microphones were set up, things just went wrong, and for about 2 hours of the 4 hours that we had booked with the session musicians, we couldn't use to record. We were just troubleshooting to get everything working. And I remember asking some of my friends over there, please guys, we just need your prayers.
We all went outside and we had a short prayer and we asked God to intervene, and He did.
I think between 15 minutes to half an hour, everything was sorted out and we could record. What followed was just amazing. It was something out of this world. I just remember sitting there for like 3 seconds. It just hit me that everything was coming together and it was actually working, and how good it sounded. And I was just so grateful to God that He has been so good to us. In September of 2010, we were asked to present a program at a church down in Somerset West in the Cape. And Andrea was studying at Heidelberg College then, and so we went to present the program, and afterwards we were visiting at her place. And while we were there, she told me she'd written a new song and she wanted to play it to me.
I wrote the song You Love Me, and it's actually a personal testimony of somebody that I deeply care about, and it touched me in a way that I can't really express.
The first time I heard the song, it spoke to my heart, because I know I've been there, and you experience something, you know, you're at a place where you sense that you've become disconnected and detached from God. And just hearing the lyrics of the traditional Amazing Grace song that was set to a new tune, it was so fresh. I could actually listen and hear the words or the lyrics for the first time, and it actually meant something to me.
We've all felt too far away. We've all felt that we've gone too far. We've done this extra thing that, you know, grace just won't cover.
You Love Me made me realize that it doesn't matter where you are in life or what kind of road you've traveled with God, He still has this deep, abiding, transcending love for you that can't be matched or exhausted. And that song was that cry of my heart when I realized that God loves me that much. There was just no other way to express it.
They Say is one of those rebellious songs. It's a song that speaks out against conforming and against doing what people expect you to do just because they expect it of you.
The first time I heard They Say, it was just after we had been recording our first album, and I remember Andrea came in and my piano was standing in my room and she said, "I have to play this new song," and she started playing the song. And I was just overwhelmed. I was so ecstatic about the song. It was such a great song to hear. I like the way the song speaks out against what society thinks about religion and about God. I mean, we do live in a very secular world, and you know, there's always someone that tries to criticize or speak out against the fact that we believe in God, that we actually have our faith. And the song says, hey, don't worry about what they say. They have been wrong before, and it's not that we're there to criticize them. It's just that we don't have to be afraid to stand up for what we believe in.
While we were trying to think of They Say and the lyrics and the reason why we wrote the song, I could only come up with the idea that it must have been God trying to reach the young people of today with a message that it doesn't matter what the world around you says about you, He still wants you to stand for what is right.
When we were starting to consider recording the song, I was reevaluating some of the lyrics and thinking, well, we do live in a postmodern society, and it's very naive to speak out and say, well, I don't care what you say. It's almost arrogant in today's society. And I was speaking to one of my friends who's a pastor as well, and I was asking him, don't you think, you know, it might be, you know, arrogant speaking out or having these lyrics in the song? And he said, no, maybe that's the exact message that the young people need to hear today, is that you don't have to be afraid to believe or to stand up for what you know is right, especially if we know, you know, God to be true. And yes, we'll, you know, anybody that wants to doubt will have their reasons to doubt, but we have enough evidence to know that what we believe in is true. And yeah, if young people can just take a stand for what they believe in and be bold enough to preach and tell the truth as it is, you know, maybe that's the start of great things, and maybe that'll be the army that God can use to finish His work. So at the end of the day, listening back to the music, I think it just makes you, you know, you want to like smile and be proud of the fact that God has been so faithful.
God was really good. He really provided, and He led this whole process.
He's still so involved. Our efforts, our tiny little efforts of young people that are willing to be involved and willing to be active in the church or in our service towards God, He still blesses. All the weird things that we have never done before and then tried and God blessed, just gave me confidence to know that God still keeps His word. He does keep His promises, and He wants to grow and develop our gifts for Him. And when we are brave enough or daring enough to use them in His service, He'll make sure that, you know, whatever we apply ourselves to will be a success, and He'll make sure that it'll accomplish what He has intended it to do. So I encourage every young person who is still, you know, not sure or uncertain about the fact that they want to, you know, be involved in service for God, that there is no reason to doubt His faithfulness, and the fact that He'll bless every effort made in the work that you want to do for Him, and that if He has placed a desire in your heart to work for Him, whatever field it may be in, that you should never have to worry, that God will provide your needs and it will grow your gifts and your talents for Him and for His glory.